I never expected a simple Thursday night to unravel me like a secret I'd been holding too tightly. The rain began softly, like whispered promises against the windows of the cafe where I worked the early shift. There was something sacred in the way the drops tapped rhythmically. The scent of wet earth mixing with freshly ground coffee beans and cinnamon from the pastries cooling on the counter. It was the kind of night that felt both quiet and electric, like the city was holding its breath. I was wiping down a table, my hands moving on muscle memory, when he walked in. He wasn't loud or flashy, just quietly present, the kind of man who seemed to carry the weight of his own storms. His jacket was worn, leather cracked in places, like a map of all the miles he'd traveled and the battles he'd survived. But it was his eyes that held me. Green-gray, stormy and calm all at once, like the sea before a sunrise. He glanced around, then caught my eye from across the room. His lips twitched into a small, slow smile that reached all the way there, pulling at something inside me I hadn't felt in a long time. A curious, aching tenderness. He walked up to the counter and ordered a black coffee, no sugar, then settled beside me in a way that felt both casual and deliberate. His presence filled the space between us, a quiet pulse that I could feel in the small of my back and the tips of my fingers. "I hope you don't mind," he said softly, voice low and warm. "I've been waiting for a place like this." I smiled back, a little breathless. "It's my refuge. I work here early, before the city wakes up. Coffee and quiet." He nodded, eyes flickering to mine like he was reading a secret. "Yemi Lucas, Mia." Our conversation started slow, the kind where words float on the air like a fragile thread, testing the space between two people who've been lonely too long. We spoke of the rain, the city's nighttime glow reflecting in puddles, the way light bends through fog and makes everything shimmer with possibility. As we talked, I felt something stirring beneath my skin. A heat that wasn't teach just from the steam rising off our cups. His hand brushed mine once, accidentally, but the spark that shot through me was no accident. I wanted to reach for him, to close the distance, but fear tangled my breath. The last time I'd let someone in, it had broken me in ways I thought I'd healed from. Lucas, though, there was something different about him. Something steady and true. Over the next few nights, our connection deepened like the darkening sky. We met at the cafe before dawn, sharing stolen moments beneath flickering street lamps and the soft drizzle that never quite let go. Each time, his voice grew warmer, his touch more deliberate, a feather-light graze on my arm, a steadying hand on my back. I caught myself watching the way he smiled when he thought I wasn't looking, the way his eyes soft in the dim light. I wanted to trace every line of his face, memorize the way his breath caught when I laughed too close. One evening, he asked me to walk with him. The rain had tapered off, leaving the streets slick and glowing with reflections of amber. We wandered in silence, hands occasionally brushing, hearts speaking in the quiet spaces. Under the awning of an old bookstore, we paused. The air was thick with the scent of wet pavement and something else. Something electric. He turned to me, eyes searching mine like he was trying to see through the walls I built. "I haven't wanted anyone like this in a long time," he said, voice rough with honesty. My chest tightened. I swallowed the lump of fear and desire that rose inside me and let my hand find his. His fingers were warm, steady, a contrast to the chill of the night. He pulled me gently closer, breath mingling with mine, every nerve alive with anticipation. Our lips met slowly at first, tentative, exploring, then with a fierce tenderness that made my knees weak. His touch was everywhere, featherlight but searing, tracing the curve of my jaw, the hollow of my neck. I leaned into him, the world shrinking to the heat between us, the sound of rain dripping from the awning, the taste of longing on his lips. That night wasn't about rushing or claiming. It was about finding a safe place in each other, about letting down the walls we'd spent years building. In his arms, I felt something I hadn't dared hope for: trust. Over the weeks that followed, Lucas and I became a secret rhythm. Quiet touches in crowded rooms, long talks under starless skies, the brush of hands that made my pulse thunder. We shared parts of ourselves we'd hidden away: the scars, the regrets, the fragile hopes. Lucas carried a past I could see in his eyes, but not reach. There were moments he pulled away, distance creeping between us like a slow fog. My heart ached to know what haunted him, to be the one he trusted enough to let in. One night, after a late shift at the bar where I worked, I found him standing outside the cafe, the rain falling in heavy sheets. His coat was soaked, his eyes distant. "Lucas," I said softly, stepping into the storm with him. He looked at me then, vulnerable and raw. "I'm not sure I'm the man you think I am." I took his hand, trembling but resolute. "I don't want perfect. I want real. I want you." The storm raged around us, but in that moment, everything else fell away. We held each other close, the rain washing away the fears and lies. His lips found mine again, fierce and desperate, a silent promise that maybe, just maybe, we could heal together. That night, the city faded into a blur of warmth and whispered confessions. We lay tangled in sheets that smelled of rain and leather and something indescribably sweet, the beginning of something new. Love, I learned, isn't always simple. It's messy and complicated, wrapped in shadows and light. But when it's real, it's worth every ache, every risk. I don't know what tomorrow holds for us. Maybe it's just a beautiful chapter in the chaos of my life. Or maybe it's the start of forever. But I do know this: I never expected a simple Thursday night and a man with green-gray eyes to unravel me, to make me feel alive again. And that, perhaps, is the most extraordinary kind of love there is.